Hello everyone. I wanted to share with you a video on our second project, our negative space. These are the 10 thumbnails that I finished. I wanted to make sure that you understand that this is all about composition, right, at this stage. So the one that I decided to go with for many reasons, mainly because this is my most favorite old plant, was my fiddle leaf fig. The view from this is actually from my bed, so I had to kind of do a lot of the work outside of where I could easily film it for you guys. But what I wanted to share with you is where the drawing is now and how to take it to a place of resolution. So I really like this upward view, and that's what I took when I transferred to my larger drawing. So in keeping with that original sketch, I created, this is a good little work tip. I like to keep like a clean rag around because I do work with an eraser almost as much as I work with a pencil when I'm working soft, which I like to start off soft. So I have, these are my three tools that I'm working with. I am working with an ebony design pencil. This is a really soft, extra smooth. This would probably equate to a 6B or possibly an 8B. I'm not too sure on that spectrum. And this is a mechanical eraser. And then this is also my sharpener from Blick that also has a really large eraser on it. This is a really cool tool. They just gave it to us. I think they have it in the store. I'm not sure. Okay, so first thing you want to do is tape off your drawing, before you get started. Use your artist tape. This is going to really look nicely when you come to document your work. You'll be able to have a nice white border, and that will highlight your overlap of your items. So you want to be careful, make sure your tape is well adhesed, especially if you're going to be using liquid media. I have a little air bubble right there, so I'm probably going to not want to, if I do use liquid media, I'll be careful of those little air pockets in your tape. So the first thing that you want to do is, how do you take your line drawing? Like, let's say you're looking at your sketches, and when you're doing your sketch, you were drawing each leaf, and then you were able to notice the shapes between them. That's normal. You want to make sure that drawing is very light. Notice where I'm holding my pencil. This is how you do your underdrawing. You do your underdrawing of each leaf so lightly. As you can see down in here, I still have my underdrawing so that it can be erased with ease, and I can easily find the edges of that leaf, and then I can be decisive about what exactly that negative shape is. I'll look constantly at my reference, right? All of this will be negative space because this is where these two leaves overlap. Right, so you want to make sure that there is no interior marks, remember, on the inside of your overlapping shapes. So I have my drawing to a place where I can now come in and refine my edges. And this is where you really want to look at the details, where if you go too quickly and eliminate some of the texture, let's say, on the edges of your leaves, and you just oversimplify, you're removing some of the character that makes that an even more believable illusion. So I'm going to get in here, and this is when I'm going to now firm up my edges before I get too solid. So now I'm going to take my time. The first thing that I did when I was coming to my drawing, though, so I want to take a step back a step. You know, I have my drawing to this place where all of my items are, fairly similar. Once I sat with it, I really was able to kind of find a different direction that fit with the paper that we have here. So in keeping my original thumbnail in view and my original, I have a photo reference as well pulled, I'm looking at my edges, right? This is when I want to be decisive and make sure that I believe in every edge. before I had to create these edges, I had to have a rough layout of my composition of where did these branches come and go? How do you find the edge of your format, right, when you're looking at these real objects? I like using tape for this reason. I have some really subtle marks that I put on my sketch that might not show, so I'll darken them for you here. But I put these marks in really subtly. I even drew center lines, an axis, right? When you draw a center axis down things, it just makes it into a smaller portion that you can deal with, right? That's all that we're gonna need to do with drawing, is kind of consistently bring our overwhelm, right? If there gets to be an area of chaos, break it down into the smaller and smaller parts until it's into a part that you can digest, right? It's the best advice that I can give for observational drawing, for complex information, which foliage is, but it's also very forgiving, right? So I know that this edge is fairly simple. This is the largest edge where my plant leaves are overlapping. So I believe in that edge, and I'm gonna let it be. As I come through, I'm gonna wanna check and make sure that each of my leaves, where they're overlapping each other, has a distinct shape to it, and everything doesn't turn into a big massive blob, so that each of my leaves can still feel like you can see their outline. Yeah, so that's my goal, is to get each of my leaves to this distinction, this level of distinction, before I move on. And if I'm going to be inking or doing more charcoal, I'll kind of make those decisions. I'm thinking I'll do something different in each quadrant, just to kind of show you what the possibilities are. So I'm going to do this, and eventually this might get